Welcome to 3Oul 3Isters. My name is Jamila Oluka and you're watching UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. In 3Oul 3Isters, we make sure that we talk about those issues that touch women, telling people our journeys, our challenges and victories in life. And that's why we have this show, so that anybody who has a show that needs, anyone who has a journey that needs to be shared with other people, this is the right place for you to be. And of course, we inspire Uganda. So also I want to give, first of all, credit to Footsteps Furniture. You can see how the place is beautiful. We have all this furniture you see here, all these beautiful things. You can have them in your room, you can have them in your home, you can have them in your house. I mean, you can even buy for someone as a present. You just need to come to Ginger Road, opposite Bank of Africa, and you'll be right here on Footsteps Furniture. Today we have one of those exceptional ladies. I always like to say that there are ladies who come here and you're like, oh wow, that's a very good story. That is something that you need to learn. That is something you need to take home. So this lady is all the way from Lira. Last time we had people from Western, from KCCA, from all over the country. But today we have this lady. She's a very young lady, Abavubuka, the grandchildren, as they call them in Uganda. And she has a very beautiful story that she's going to share with us here. So you're most welcome, Atim.
Thank you so much. My name is Atim Oliver Masi, all along from Lira. And I'm here in
okay.
UBC
You said you're from Lira, but I know that when we had a brief chat before, you had said you are from somewhere else. Yeah. So briefly, tell us, who is Atim? Where was Atim born?
Atim was born from Lira Regional Referral Hospital on 24th November 1997. Though I don't look like a born of 97.
You look like how now?
I look old.
That is what you think. It's what you put in your mind, but you actually look young. You actually look young. So tell us now. You could probably share with us your family, where you're from, if you're comfortable sharing that. Tell us what was your childhood like before Atim started even school, the little that you can remember.
Before I started school, being a firstborn is something so like it's not so funny, but it is interesting.
I'm not a firstborn.
Now I'm sharing it out.
Yes.
So being a firstborn, you find you get all the love. Father wants to carry you, the mother wants to carry you, everyone around wants to carry you.
Grandmother.
Hey, grandmother, you go, they want to carry you on their back, and you'll be like, hey. Oh, that is the life of a firstborn. So growing up, I was loved by almost everyone, whereby the journey was not so much bad, so I could enjoy. You go to the grandmother, she carries you, she packs for you things.
Which things? I know that in Lira there is a very good cassava, there are G-nuts, there is simsim, so you are the children whom they used to give some G-nuts.
So they could pack for us G-nuts. Not only G-nuts, they carry for you, they give you chicken, you pack, come back with it, and you have to take care of it. So that next time you're going, you make sure they don't eat. Like when they give you one, you come back, keep it very well, and make sure that as you're going back, maybe in third term holidays, this one has already produced very many. You have
and you get some pocket money.
Yes.
I know.
So that is how it was. But I used not to like eating.
Why?
So I could only eat when Dad is around.
Because of Chejo?
Yes.
Probably Chejo. Now tell us, since you were a girl, a child who had Chejo, so tell me, which primary schools did you go to?
When my dad was working with the dot service, he could move. They used to keep changing him to places where my first school was Dokolopi 7, where I went only for one term.
That was primary? That
was primary one. And
one term?
Yes, just one term. And that one term, I was very young. I started with 5 years without going to nursery. But at home, I could sit every time my dad could come back in the evening. He could sit me down, get a piece of charcoal. We write on the soil. That is how I started writing. We go into sounds. So I went to school when I knew the sounds. I knew how to write 1 up to 30. That is what he taught me with. So I knew all those. I knew the sounds. I knew letters of alphabet at that age of 5 years. So when he could come back, we write. The next day, for him to give you the
Your
sweet.
father must have been a teacher.
Yes, he used to teach at a technical institute.
Yes.
Yes. So he just write, for you to get the sweet he has come back with, you have to present what you have learned in the previous day. So you see how tough he was. That is what he used to do.
And did you enjoy, how was that life like, you know?
I was enjoying because I am someone who is very sharp in mastering. I have a sharp memory, if I can say. So I could master each and everything. Whatever he teaches me, I could make sure I master it in order to get the present he would bring the next day.
That means when you went to P1, you just went straight to number one.
When I went to P1, they could tell me, raise your hand up. If it doesn't touch the other side of the ear, you're still
I remember
not going
those
to school.
things. It's not like nowadays you find a very little child like this going to school
that's
and
what
then
they used
P1.
to do to us. So my mom told me, you're still young to go to school. You have to remain at home. So I stayed, but I could enjoy my cousins going to school because they were staying at home. Then I have to escape. So one day in the evening, I planned with my sisters. I told them, I must go with you the next day. So when they are packing for them juice, they are packing for them pancake. You know, mom used to make pancake for them to go with it to school. So she packed, and my cousin was like, your tiffin, we are going to put it in our bag, and we escaped the next day. We go to school. So that was July, in the middle of second term. I escaped. I went with them without a book, without a pencil.
You thought you were going to write using charcoal.
So I thought I would write using charcoal and maybe enjoy watching those people writing. So when I reached school, the teacher asked my name. I told her my name. And this teacher was so nice. The teacher was very interesting. I enjoyed the lesson. So when he could ask questions in class, I was one of those people. He asked a question, my hand is up. So I was like, you have just come? Have you been learning? Were you at school? I told him, no, I wasn't at school. But I was learning from home. My dad could teach me all this. So the teacher liked me so much. Then he gave me a book to write in. I wrote in the book and I got everything correct. So this teacher gave me a sweet. By then, dipped coffee, there's a toffee.
Toffee, the yellow one.
Yes, the yellow toffee.
He
gave me toffee as a gift. I enjoyed that sweet. My friends were begging. I didn't give them. I told them, if you want, you have to work harder. But then I had a good friend on that day one who welcomed me, and I sat next to her. She was called Jillian. Jillian was so nice. I just broke a piece and gave it to her. She enjoyed them. On our way back home, because we used to learn up to around midday. That was day one. I went back home. Mom was asking me, where have you been? I told her.
From morning?
Yes. We left at around 8 to go to school. So she asked me, where have I been? I told her, I was there playing at the neighborhood. I never wanted her to know because she told me I'm still young to go to school. So day 2, I went. Now the teacher had added for me more books. I went, I wrote very well. In the evening, I came back with, in the afternoon, I mean, I came back with my books and I presented to my dad. I was like, these are books. Where have you got it from? I told him I got it from school. My cousin gave me, and my teachers also added some to me. He was like, why didn't you tell me so that I can provide for you the books? Then I was like, next time, at least share with me. I told him, okay, but I was afraid of sharing and you tell me remain home. So that day my dad was very happy. And the next day, that was day 3, we went back with him. He cleared my fees. I started studying fully. He
At
got
5 years?
Yes. He got for me the uniform. And that's how I began.
So you were in primary 4. Did you study in that school until P7?
Not really. I only studied for 1 term.
And then?
Then when they transferred him to Amolata, he went to Amolata. That was now during that war.
The
of
Konyi.
LRA, yes, the Konyi War. So he went to Amolata, where we could not remain in Dokolo. We had to move with him. So I went to Amolata. Still, I was a brilliant girl. When I reached, I was so friendly and lovely. My friends, I met new friends. I started creating, and I made sure that each and everyone could be with me, I used to befriend them. And not only befriending them, I was good in mathematics. And you know, these kids were struggling in mathematics.
And for you, I'd already taught you.
So I'd already begun it earlier on with the addition, subtraction, where we could draw sticks.
Yes.
If we are not drawing sticks, that is
the bundles.
Yes. And I also had my counters where he broke for me small pieces of reeds. So he packed for me. He counted it up to 200. I could pack in my bag and go with it. And I was
which school would make children of P1 count up to 200?
No, it is my dad who did that for me. It is my dad who did it too.
So where did you now sit your P7?
So my primary 7, I sat at Karadali Primary School.
So you even left Amolata, and again you came back to Lira.
Yes. So now from Amolata, they transferred my dad to Lira. When we reached Lira, my mom was like, I'm tired of moving. I'm tired of moving from place to place. These children need to build a foundation. Yes. So I suggest, in case they transfer you to any other place, we are going to remain in Lira. We are not going to go to any other place. So we remained with mommy. We remained with mommy schooling. That's when I joined Karadali. But before joining Karadali, I was at Atim Primary School.
Those are like 4 schools in primary.
4 schools. Atim Primary School, I joined in primary 2.
Then from there you went to
So from primary 2, 3, then 4, when we went for a debating competition, I was among the best. So there was this gentleman in the audience who was busy listening to us. At the end of the show, at the end of the debate, I mean, this gentleman picked up and was like, I want to talk to you. So when he told me I want to talk to you, I gave him a chance. He talked to my teachers, and my teachers gave him a chance to talk to me. I was like, hey, you're so brilliant. I enjoyed the debate. I would like to know your parents. So from there, this gentleman, he was working with AVSI. So he went up to home, had a talk with my parents. Then he was like, this person, if we give her a bright future, or if we give her the best education, she can be someone very great in the future. So he gave them the idea of changing me to Karadali Primary School, and that is how I joined Karadali Primary School. And
that's when you sat your...
Yes, now from there I remained stable. From there I studied up to primary 7, I sat. I performed very well.
You got how many? Tell us.
I got 5 aggregates.
Wow, that was good. Weren't you the best child in the whole school?
I wasn't the best because I had a friend who was beating me. If he beats me this time, I make sure I beat him. So I'm Atim, he's Atim. And right now he's a medical doctor.
Wow.
So we used to compete so much. If he defeats me this time, I make sure I defeat him next time. And the only subject that we used to compete mostly, and if he fails to get 100, I tell him, you have failed to get it, I have to get it for you.
that is math.
That was mathematics and science.
Can you imagine the most difficult subjects that most children struggle with? So then after P7, where did you go for your secondary?
After P7, because of the person, is called Epoch JB, John Bosco, who was supporting me. He could pay me halfway, then my parents were also paying halfway. He took me to Ashulbanya Secondary School, where I studied up to senior 4. Under his support with my parents. So from there...
So senior 4 you also excelled?
Senior 4 I also excelled. I was among those best top 10.
In the district?
Not in the district, but in the school. Yes.
So how was the experience of being in a secondary school?
Secondary school, it being a mixed school, my dear.
So were you, before you were in a single-sex school?
It was still mixed, but remember primary life is different from secondary life.
Yes, it is.
Yes. So secondary life, when we joined in senior 1, they used to tell us that when you're in senior 1, you have to wash the toilet the whole year. Until
bullying,
so it is bullying, but they used to call it pushing. So you have to push until the end of the year.
And did you do that?
I didn't do it. How did I dodge? So when I was in senior 1, term 1, passed, one of my friends.
Was it a boarding school?
Yes, it was. It was a boarding government school. One of my friends wrote an application and took in the office. So I didn't know anything. When the list of the prefects came out, I saw my name and I was surprised. So the students used to like me so much, and during the time of voting, they voted me. So
you didn't even campaign?
I didn't campaign. I was just there. But
you were so lucky. For us those days, it was serious campaigns.
Yes.
You even give people sweets.
We used also to give. The serious campaign I got was in senior 3 when I was applying as assistant head girl. Yes. I applied as assistant head girl, but I was pushed to be the head girl.
Oh, how did that happen? Share with us that story.
I think it happened in the office because of the discipline. They were considering discipline mostly. When I applied as assistant head girl, I don't know how it happens, but they had to. I don't know whether it was my application or other people also wrote in application. Then they considered the one of head girl, where I was leading young girls and big girls, including the big boys.
The head girl of O level is different from the head girl of HS, isn't it?
Yes, but now this one, you have to head the whole school. Yes, when you're the head girl, you have to be in charge of everyone. All the girl child, not only girl child, but you also have to look at the boys.
So you were head girl for how long? What period of time?
It is for 1 year. So until when I reached senior 4, I had to hand over to another person. But during my regime, I really enjoyed it.
So what are those things what privileges did you give to the girls? I mean to the students? To
the students, I used to make sure that everyone was working. Not only the senior ones to wash the toilets, but it was everyone, because by then our head teacher, Naptal Oyuru, DN, he was a very nice man. He told us, hey, you people senior, you only think that senior ones are the ones to wash the toilets. Me at my home, I wash the toilet. Big as I am, I'm the head teacher, but I wash the toilets. So who are you? You're still very young, you have to do everything. So when he spoke it in assembly or during assembly, I picked it. And I was like, it is not only senior ones, everyone deserves equal rights. So yes, it needs to be a routine where senior ones are doing it, senior 2s, senior 3s.
Yes.
And also over the weekend.
Because all people use the latrines, so it should be a collective
you know how stubborn they are.
I know.
They are very stubborn. So bringing that equal rights amongst the students made them to love me more and more.
Because you were this neutral
Yes,
leader.
I was neutral. I used to listen to their voices. I could not be one-sided or single-sided, but I was on everyone's side. On the side of the teachers, I was there. On the side of the students, I was there.
So that means you're a neutral, democratic leader.
Yes.
Anyway, so after senior, where did you go to for your HSC?
I didn't go, but I went to the nursing school.
Tell us, how come this brilliant girl had to go to nursing school? There must be a story behind that.
There was a story. I used to like so much to be a medical worker. So I wanted to be a nurse and maybe upgrade and be a pathologist. Because every time I could be annoyed, I just feel like I have to work in the mortuary. It is so funny.
You want to be looking at dead people?
I want to be looking at people that will not be crying. You didn't turn me badly, you have not done this, you have not done this. So I used to admire those people so much.
Really?
Yes.
You're the first person I've had who admires working in the morgue, because most people actually fear to go to the mortuary.
Actually, up to now.
You still have time.
You still have time.
You can still pursue
So I be like, every time I get annoyed, I be like, if maybe I was working here, I think I would have been having peace of mind, because the people I'm working with, they are not so much. They will not complain. There are people when they're
But the people, still everywhere you have to work, you'll always have people to talk to, because even in the mortuary, there are people who work there with you, you know.
Okay, I would be talking to them, but mostly remember you're working on those mates where they are not going to complain.
Yeah.
You have not done this, you have not turned me well.
Very interesting. So tell us the story of how you went to join nursing.
So when I went to join nursing, I applied, and when the time of interviews came, I went to do the interview. I passed.
Which nursing school was that?
I went to Ginger School, Comprehensive School of Nursing. So unfortunately, I didn't. The person who was trying to connect me was like, you have to pay some money in order to join government scholarship. So I told him, this is the little we have. So the little we have, he wasn't okay with it. He was like, so since you can't reach that, you're going to go under private. So I joined under private, where I studied for 1 year. And when Dad became sick, he couldn't now support anymore. So that time I had to go back home. After a struggle of 1 year, you're remaining with just
that must have been very depressing.
Yeah, it was not so much good. So I had to stay home. But regardless of the situation, I had to remain calm and be like, as long as you remain focused, you can still reach.
Yes.
I always tell people I'm a virtuous woman, whereby when I'm to do something, if I want it, I want it, not I need.
You want it, not need.
So
it's a do or die.
Yes. So I have to work harder towards that goal. So when I went back home, I had my goats that I was given. I had the 2 goats I was given, but by that time it had already produced. There were very many. So these goats were given to me because of their academic excellence. So I performed very well. Then I was gifted. Yes, by one of my teachers. Is still the very person, John Bosco Epoch, who was teaching me English. So he gifted me with those 2. So when I went back home, I started looking after them, and I'm like, I think this is not a must. Let me first settle. And I was a person who never thought or dreamt of becoming a teacher. Because I used to see how teachers could struggle in class. You have to make sure so-and-so, whether he's a slow learner or a fast learner, you have to make sure they're all at the same pace. So I looked at it like it is a difficult job. Not knowing it is where God is throwing me. So when I went home, I stayed for some short period of time.
How long was that?
It was like 4 months. So when I stayed for 4 months, but within those 4 months, I went through a lot. I was depressed. Not only that, with also the environment where I was, because I wasn't at home. I was at some place. So where I was, it wasn't so good.
Where was that?
I was very far in a Leptong district. So the place wasn't okay. The environment, and you look at each and every...
Now, who were you staying with all the way to Aleptong, and you leave your parents this side?
It was a family friend to my dad, but still things weren't okay.
So why did you have to go to Aleptong and not go back to your parents' home? Because now when you left school, I presume maybe you wanted to go back home and then maybe start something, because you said you had goats at home. So yes. How come again you went to Aleptong?
There was this family friend who was like, hey, I can support you. I can support you. So I was like, hey, because I really wanted to become a medical worker. So I accepted, and my parents accepted, but all in vain. The support didn't appear. That's why
the support made you end up in the garden. Maybe that was part of training. You know, God puts people in different situations for a reason.
Yes. That's why I always say tender-hearted people always reach where they want to be or where they want to reach, regardless of the storm that they are going through. So when I stayed there, always people, when people are celebrating Valentine, I'm always very happy. But people may think that maybe I'm celebrating Valentine with other people. But I just celebrate the success after a raging storm. The storm was so strong. So it was on that Valentine Day where this Kenyan friend of, the family Kenyan friend of ours, called Meshach Oramisi, Odera. So it was like, Mercy, you know, girl children, I don't encourage them to stay home.
Because you'd end up getting pregnant and your future just
for a long period of time. And the way I look at you, you are a person that is not supposed to stay home. Before I go back to Kenya, because the company he was working with, or the NGO he was working with, his contract was almost getting done or ending. So I was like, before I go, I have to make sure I leave you somewhere so that next time I come to Uganda, I am proud of who you are or who you will become. He called me in the morning. That was a Valentine's Day. Early in the morning, that was around 8. I told him, you know, I can't. Teaching has not been my dream job. I cannot teach. So, can you work? I told him, if it is another job apart from teaching, I am free. I will be saying yes, and I will go and work. He told me, it is okay then. He hung up the call. At around midday, this gentleman called me. Mercy, can you teach? I told him, I told you earlier on, I cannot manage teaching, and I'm not ready to teach. And actually now I started quarreling. I told him, you know, I can't manage teaching. I've not been thinking of becoming a teacher. What is it? So at that midday, when he called me, he sent the money. By then, you know, 100,000, it used to be having a lot of value. He sent 100,000 for my transport to go up to the school where he was connecting me. So when he connected me, that is Outspan Primary School, which is in Namlonge. So when he connected me, he told me, you're coming, but I'm not there in Kampala. He sent the money. He gave me a contact of another person to come and meet. I came. Masa is now moving, leaving Lira, coming to Kampala.
Was it for the first time?
By that time, it was the first time of me coming alone without the guidance of any other person. So I'm now coming. I looked at myself as a big person who is young. So I was like, it is a command. It is not a request. I have to go. He has already sent the money. You can't reverse the money. And he was like, I want to see you setting off at 2. So I had to go book the bus. I set off at 2. We started the journey. I was enjoying the journey somehow, but I was also stressed. What am I going to do? I have not been thinking of becoming a teacher. What am I going to do? So when we reached Karumba, I started enjoying the waterfalls.
And that place is so beautiful.
Yes, it's so beautiful. So somehow it took away the stress, and I'm like, let come. I will just enjoy. I will move with the flow. So when I reached Kampala, I called the person I was to meet. He was called Dennis. So when I called Dennis, he was like, where have you reached? Go to such and such a park, board a taxi in the evening, very late, where I've never gone. The person I'm talking to, I'd never talked to, and he's a male. So I'm like, am I safe? So that was already around 11 p.m. in the night.
What? That was late.
It was very late. I'm meeting the person for the first time, but it was the connection of Meshach. So I was like, am I safe? Because I used to ask myself, am I safe? You know, the world we're in, it is not always safe for a girl child.
Yeah,
at least
it
boy
is
child,
not. It's not.
It is somehow better. So I asked myself, am I safe? Anyway, go take over. But in case of anything, please guide me. That was my prayers until when I reached. So when I reached Gayaza, I went up to the place. I boarded. When I met him, he was a nice person. He welcomed me. He took me up to the school. So when he took me to the school, I found people who were already waiting for me. Remember connections. Nowadays we are in a world of connection. Without connection, you cannot.
Yeah, social capital.
Yes, it is one of the social capital. One of the capitals, I mean. So when I found people waiting for me, they were very happy to receive me. I greeted them, then we proceeded to his home. When we reached his home, I found the wife had prepared meals. But you think I was at home? I wasn't. I was still thinking, how will I sleep up to morning? Am I safe at this home? The wife welcomed me. She served me food after taking a warm bath. So I came, we started conversing. She was like, feel at home. I couldn't feel at home.
Anyway, we will come back right back there. Thank you very much for watching UBC TV. We'll go for a break right now, but we shall be right back. But before we go for a break, I would like to remind you that we are here at Footstep Furniture, where you can come and buy everything you need for your home. I mean, from the balcony to the sitting room to the bedroom, everything that you need, from the curtains, the chairs, this beautiful furniture that you see here, it's all here at Footsteps Furniture. So you just need to come here and get your home, you know, revamped, as I would say. But for now, let us go for a short break. We shall be right back. Welcome back to Super Soul Sisters. My name is Jamila Oluka and you're watching UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. We are here talking about Atim Mercy's journey, how she, you know, how she was a brilliant kid all the way from Lira and where she is right now. She'll be telling us more about where she is, what she's doing, and also how she managed to overcome all those challenges that she went through in her life. I would also like to say that in this show, we make sure that we talk about women issues. That's why we call it Super Soul Sisters. But also I want to remind you that if you want to watch this show, it's always here on Wednesday, 9 p.m. at UBC TV. And if you miss at 9 p.m., you can catch us every Friday at 11 a.m. But also, if you happen to miss for some reason that you're quite busy, you can catch us on YouTube, still Super Soul Sisters, and you'll watch all the episodes. We've had so many people here. We have so many stories that you can watch and learn something from it. Why I always tell people that when you hear the stories from someone who is a Ugandan, a lady like you, then you will, you know, learn to tap into that and get to understand how life is. Because some of you now might be going through hard time, others may be celebrating, others have fear, but you don't know how to go about it. This is the right place you can get to hear from the horse's mouth. You hear people's stories and how they overcame those stories, and they will encourage you also. That's why we have Super Soul Sisters. We shall be coming back to Mercy. She was telling us how she came to Kampala for the first time. Imagine coming and you reach here at 11 p.m. and then you're welcomed, and she was so worried, you know, being a girl child at that young age. She wasn't sure where she is. Regardless of the fact that they had connected her there, she still had worries. So let us give her the floor to continue telling us what happened that night. But did you even eat food? Did you enjoy the meal?
My dear, I couldn't enjoy. But remember, you're a visitor in a new home. So what do? You have to at least eat some bit of it, not just refusing to eat. So I had to force eating.
Or you ate nama wojolo. You never know, you might have eaten some chicken. And when you reached Kampala, you're like, oh, I'm full.
Not really. I was thinking of how I will reach morning. Because these people, it was my first time to meet them. So I just had to eat something very little and kept on praying inside. Inside me, I was praying, hey Lord, when will morning reach? So when morning reached, I went to school, I did the interview. I passed very well. Without my teaching certificate, these people gave me a vacancy. So I started teaching. They gave me a position.
Which subjects were you teaching?
By then I was teaching mathematics with science, but currently I'm teaching science mainly. Yes.
So you are the people who are earning 5 million?
Not really.
Yes, we follow this news. I remember even when they passed that bill at Parliament that science teachers should earn at least 3 million and above, because you know, we invest so much in understanding science. So anyway, going back to your story. So when you started teaching now,
so when I started
what happened to that dream of being working at the morgue?
When I started teaching, the day I did the interviews and I passed and I was given a place. So the next day he told me, you know what, you have to work harder towards achieving that goal. And medical courses that you want, or the medical course that you want, it is mostly full-time. You can't manage to do it
without money.
Yes, without money. The advice I can give you, actually it wasn't an advice that time. It was now a command. So the following
Who was commanding in the Kenyan friend?
Meshach, yes, the Kenyan friend. So the next day, he had to travel from Kamuli, where he was working, to Kampala. He came, picked me, and took me to Kamrasi. That is Masindi. So from there, because he was known, they gave me a space, and I was studying in service program. But remember, when you're just starting, it is rare for them to give you. You have to be a full-time student. So I used to work during school time, then during holidays, I go back to school and study. When I was promoted for my second year, unfortunately, my dad died.
Yeah, sorry about
So it was a bit...
Which school were you studying from then?
I was now at Kamrasi, PTC. When my dad died, I still felt like I was in a ditch without any light, because the person where you used to talk to when you're down was no more. So I sat down, I said, God, what is this? You had started bringing me out of light,
and
but
now this
all of a sudden the light went off. So I said, what am I going to do next? Being a firstborn, you don't have anyone you're going to look at. Maybe I have my elder brother.
How many sisters do you have?
I have
brothers?
I have 2 sisters and 3 brothers.
All those look up to you.
Yes, I was like, I don't have where to run to, but I will always be running to you. That is what I said. So I had this song that kept running in my mind, Rock of Ages. And up to now, it's still my favorite hymns. Rock of Ages, Rock of Ages. So I said, I will win, I know. This is just a trying moment. So that was March. I remained strong. I had to comfort mommy. I had to be with her to make sure that...
Because now everyone needs comfort. I know.
Yes,
I lost my mom when I was in primary 6 at that young age, and I lost my dad also. I lost my dad the same month I lost my job. So just know, if you, I can relate what you're trying to say, but you know, you come up.
Yes. So I kept the faith. I sat down. I'm like, I have to remain strong, because if I'm weak, Mamu too will be weak. So I remained strong. I kept on working. But then in October, I just made I missed a step as I was climbing the stairs.
Oh my God.
I had to fall down and broke the ankle. The Tarzan metatarsal bone. So it got broken. I used to depend on myself, but by that time I couldn't depend on myself. I had to depend on someone else.
Yeah, because
to support me.
You have to move with crutches.
Yes. So I just had to remain weak, but I kept the faith. I said, I have to win. I have to at least reach somewhere. So that time when I was in deep pain, actually I can say depression, I said, I'm not going to die, but I have to make sure I reach my destination. So I sat down, I drafted a book, The Worst Storms of Life Never Last, but Tender-Hearted People Do. So it is all about my story. It's all about how I was managing the storms. So when I drafted it, I worked on it and I published it in 2020 during COVID. So this book talks more about me, and when you're reading it, trust me, it will be like the way we are right now. You're seated in front of me and I'm telling you my story.
Yes, I understand.
So that is how the book is. So I sat and I was like, there's a girl somewhere. I don't know where she is. I don't know who she is, but is struggling maybe with the same pain I went through, or with the same pain I'm still going through. But she needs someone to talk to. What can I do to support this girl, or to support this boy, or to support this big gentleman, or this big lady? Maybe I can be writing articles. So I started writing articles, and I could post it on Facebook. By then we used to use Zero Facebook. Yes,
now you have to pay.
I got followers, until 2020 when I said, no, let me tell people about my book. So the first time when I posted it on Facebook, people fell in love with my book, and I started seeing reactions. When I launched the book, it was on market. People loved the book so much, and the feedback I got from those who took the book, they were like, really, when I read the book, I don't feel like giving up, even if I'm like down.
They relate.
Yes, your book acts like a rope to pull me out, or to pull any other person who is in depression, always going through a trying moment, always going through a raging storm. So that is the feedback I always get from people.
Which is interesting. But I also see that you wrote more books.
Yes, so far I have 8 books. But of the 8 books, I've published 2. I've published the Worst Storms of Life Never Last, but Tender-Hearted People Do. Then I also publish a poetry collection. Then if all goes on well, I think either this year or next year, I'll be launching a new book known as The Woman's Search for Happiness. So, you know, all along I was searching for happiness.
And now you've got happiness. I can see you have the happiness. Because you see, because I've been following like your books, so you first went through hard times, then you come, because poetry helps us to express ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah, then finally you've come now, you're going to now publish the Search of what? Happiness.
The Woman's Search for Happiness. So, you know,
I can't wait to read. I can't wait to read that book.
Women always search for happiness in people. Maybe you're looking for happiness in someone else, or you're looking for happiness. You want to get more money. But I can tell you, or any other person who is watching me now, the happiness you need, it's within you. You may have a big amount of money or a huge amount of money. But still, if you don't set your mind to have that happiness, or if you don't create your happiness, trust me, you can't have that peace.
But they say money influences happiness.
It does. It has some bigger percentage, but the most and the most important one is you. So if you train your mind to have that peace of mind, you will attain.
I need to come for lessons so that I can be happy all the time.
Yes.
But anyway, your story is very interesting. Now, I need to know, are you still teaching? What are you doing right now, apart from publishing the books?
Right now, I do public speaking, inspiring the youth. Not only that, I'm also teaching. Currently, I'm teaching at Tavia Pre and Primary School, where I'm handling science. And you know, most girls be telling you, oh, Teacher Mercy, you know, science, I fear science. They tell us science is hard, but science is not hard. It's all about your commitment, how you commit yourself to it. And first of all, you have to love it. Yes, you have to love it.
So do you still have your dream of becoming, working at the morgue? Because
you will make people fear me.
No, nobody's going to fear. Actually, I would say that that's one of the best things that I've had, because when we die, we need to be handled, given the last respect, you know, and there are very few people who actually can do that kind of job. I know that one time when I lost my niece and we went to the funeral, I think plus, like something, funeral plus something, there at Mango. I was so surprised how these people were handling the different dead bodies around there. And when the way they handled my niece, I was so impressed. Like they really handled her so well. Like even they put on that dress. Alive. They even told us, no, these people, we have to send them with love. Could you have a ribbon? We had to get a ribbon. They put her on a white dress. They smeared her. They said, do you have lipstick? I'm like, oh my God, really? This is what these people go through. And they, you know, for someone to do that to somebody, it brings a lot of joy to even the person who has lost someone. It gives you like sense of happiness. So there are very few people who can do that. I think you can still pursue that if you are interested, because you said you want to become a doctor and then all that. There's still room. You're still young. Yes,
there's still room for it.
So now, are you going to persuade that?
I still have a dream. I will reach there. I may not be there. I may not be there, but I still have a dream in line with that.
In line with that.
With pathology.
So right now, if we went to your school, what are the two things your students would tell us about you?
The two things. One, I love them, and I always counsel them as a mother. Yes. So not only that, and I always encourage them. You know, we are teaching children who are going through a lot at that young age. You may because of the exposure. So these children doesn't need parents to distance themselves from. But sometimes, you know, parents are going for work. They are remaining at home, maybe with the maids, and they need someone to just be closer to them and talk to them. But as a teacher, I always act as a teacher, as a parent at the same time. So I bring them closer and talk to them.
There is a step you miss. Do you have children? Are you married?
Yes, I do have children.
How many?
I have very many.
Very many?
Yes. Okay,
wow.
all the children that I teach, I call them my personal, because I can feel that pain.
And the biological ones?
The biological ones I have.
So that means when you're talking to them, you give them, you talk to them in the perspective of a mother, of someone who has gone through all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
anyway, what's your last message now to people who are out there? When is the book? When are you going to launch the book? You can tell us a bit of that, and then we end the show.
So if all goes on well, as I told you earlier on, I will be publishing the Woman's Search for Happiness. Then not only that, I have 2 books that I want to bring them out at the same time. Woman's Search for Happiness, then Stepping into Your Power of Greatness. How do you step into your power of greatness? You have to persevere with your journey, however raging the storm is. You have to keep moving. Put on that umbrella and walk with it so that it can protect you from the drops or the hailstorms. Yes, until you reach where you want to go. So any woman or any person who is watching me out there, what I can tell you, if you have a dream, regardless of your journey or regardless of what you're going through right now or what you went through, you can still attain your dreams. You just have to persevere. You have to persevere until the last dot of where you want to be.
Wow. Such powerful words.
Yes.
Such powerful words.
Just to believe, persevere, and keep moving, keep pressing harder. Press. When you fall, wake up. Fall, get up. When you fall again, get up until you reach where you want. If it means by crawling, crawl until you reach
there. Actually, Martin Luther King said that if you can't walk, you crawl. If you can't crawl, just move whatever way you can, but don't stop chasing after your dream. It's been nice having you. We are really grateful to have you, and maybe you can share what are your socials.
I'm commonly known as Oma. Oma, O stands for Oliver, M stands for Mercy, and A stands for Atim.
So O-M-A.
Yes, that is Oma.
At what? Old Instagram?
You can find me on Twitter, Oliver Mercy Atim, or you can search with Oma. You still get me. You go to my Facebook page, Oma or Oliver Mercy Atim. Still you can get me and follow me up. I have a lot of inspirational messages for you out there.
Thank you very much, Mercy. It's been nice having you. We are so glad that you came here to share your beautiful story with us. And I know that whoever is watching right now must be enjoying the show and also understanding that life, you don't have to give up in life. You really don't have to give up. Life comes with a lot of challenges. Life there is no permanent situation. At least that's one thing that I learned, that my parents taught me, that today you can be eating beans, tomorrow you can eat meat. Today it can be raining, tomorrow there's sunshine. So the very way the universe operates, that's how life is. It's not always raining, it's not always shining. So life, there is no permanent situation in life. So thank you very much, our viewers who have been watching us. We are really grateful that you keep watching Super Soul Sisters. You give us a lot of motivation to be bringing people like Mercy who share their lovely stories of how they have made it in life. But I would also like to remind you that as you look for happiness, as Mercy says, please come to Footsteps Furniture and get all this beautiful furniture. You know, there is a saying that when you beautify your home, when you make your home beautiful, you will always look forward to going back home. Because imagine if you had such a beautiful setup, even much better than this. When you come to Footsteps Furniture, you'll get everything you need. I mean, from what you need at home, you'll just stop here and buy everything, and your home will look like the Hollywood kind of homes that we admire on screen, on maybe social media. It is right here. You don't need to travel. So I'll also like to remind you that Super Soul Sisters runs every Wednesday at around 9 p.m. here on UBC TV. And if you missed to watch us today, you can catch us on Friday, 11 a.m. still on UBC TV, Super Soul Sisters. And for some reason, if you happen to be busy, you can catch us on YouTube, still Super Soul Sisters. You will get to listen and watch all these episodes that we've run through here on Super Soul Sisters. I'll leave you with one message: don't give up. As Mercy says, don't give up, persevere, and you'll reach where you want to be. And let us look out for her on her social media handles, Oma, so that we get to know when she's going to launch this book. We support her sister, because when you support a sister, you lift yourself up too. Thank you very much for watching UBC TV. My name is Jamila Oluka. Have a blessed night.